we're back on Get Up. Let's go back to the NBA draft last night. AJ Dybantsa went number 1 to Washington, followed by Utah taking Darren Peterson. Dybantsa and Peterson were battling to be the top pick. Peterson spoke last night on being selected number 2.
Obviously, I wanted to be number 1 pick, but I went number 2. So now I'm prepared to go to Utah and get to work. There's always been a chip on my shoulder, so I wouldn't say it added anything else, but now it'll always be on my mind for my whole career.
That's a good answer.
I love that. Well, because I want to see more of that personality. And honestly, you didn't hear him talk a lot throughout the course of the regular season. If I had heard that personality throughout the course of the regular season, it would have made me feel different about the whole scenario.
Instead of the guy that self-described himself as an antisocial loner the first time he stepped to a microphone.
We interviewed him on the radio after his draft selection. He was unbelievable. Combine, 27 words, 7 questions. Yesterday, sitting down, he was unbelievable. And the coolest thing was, as AJ Dybantsa was leaving the interview with us and he was coming, those both guys dapped it up. They talked. You could see a true respect between the two of them. But the growth I saw in Peterson yesterday, sitting down with him for a 5 or 10 minute interview, he absolutely was poised, confident, and engaged.
Yeah. So Peterson had sort of infamously or famously not worked out for anybody but the Wizards, sort of trying to call his shot and go number 1. Does that, now that it didn't happen and he goes to Utah and there he was, I'm sure that's what he was answering a question about last night. Does that make any difference at all? Like,
no, because I think Utah feels great. They feel comfortable. They just did this last year with Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey's like, I'm not going to Utah. Utah's like, yes, you are. Yeah. And now you're playing. So you think about what they have with their coaching staff, with their lineup, Keontae George, Lauri Markkanen, Jaren Jackson. I mean, they have talent in Utah. They have size, and the ball is going to be in his hands, which I think is very different than what you saw last year at Kansas. More of what you saw in high school with a guy like Darren Peterson.
His shot-making ability is second to none in this draft. Like, he's the best shooter in this draft. He can get to his spot. He reminds me of Donovan Mitchell with the way he can use his upper body, drop his shoulder, create space, and step back into that mid-range jump shot. He gets to his spot on the floor as easy as anybody that was draftable last night.
So, Uncle Seth, look at the question on the screen, and you enter it for me. Which one of those two guys, Dybantsa, who goes 1 to Washington, where they had, look, both these teams had ridiculous seasons. But these two teams are the reason that the NBA had to change their tanking rules. What Washington did at the end of the season, candidly, was a disgrace. But it winds up working. They get the number 1 pick. They lose 26 of their last 27 games. They don't play their best players. But now they got Trae Young. They got Anthony Davis. They get Dybantsa. Like, is he set up to succeed there?
He's set up to succeed because that's who he is. But Darren Peterson's set up to succeed because the people around him are going to complement him much better than. And Jay, I'm going to leave it to you because you talked about the dysfunction of the Washington Wizards. I don't think that Utah has a dysfunction. I said Utah has a group of guys that actually fit Darren Peterson. Ace Bailey makes shots, Markkanen. They're going to probably sign Kessler. They're going to have a really nice roster, a young roster that can grow together.
Triple J.
These guys right here, to me, they're a big question mark. They're like the Joker, you know, like the old Batman, a big old question mark. Because they haven't done it for so long. They've been dysfunctional. He's going to be the face of the organization. Can the pieces around him complement him? And more importantly, will they follow him? Because at that level, they have not had a leader in such a long time. I don't think Trae Young is an absolute leader. I think this guy's got to be the leader.
I think Trae Young is a heck of a basketball player. Obviously, averaging 9 assists and 26 points. You have a chance to be elite along with Anthony Davis when he's available, when he's on the court, right? If he's there, so we can see what happens. But at the end of the day, I'm going to see Darren Peterson. Just because I think the ball being in his hands is a major difference, guys. And they're going to design an offense that's going to play through him. Last year, what we saw at Kansas was he was playing off the ball. He had to read and react a lot more. When the ball's in his hands, he can dictate what happens on the floor.
I'll be the devil's advocate here. I think when you look, if Trae Young and Anthony Davis, and they both, obviously Trae Young wants to be there with that money that he just signed for, but if Anthony Davis wants to be there and you can put AJ Dybantsa in space, in transition, and you play fast, I think the wider spacing on the floor actually helps AJ Dybantsa, and they can put him in situations where he's catching that ball in the mid-range off the post, play through him, set screens, and allow him to pick and operate in space. That's where he is going to thrive. But he does need the ball in his hands in order for him to be successful.
And that's the difficult thing, because at times the ball gets stuck in Trae Young's hand.
And by the way, also short-term, long-term success. So once again, I go back to my original thesis at the beginning of the show. Do you trust in Washington to surround him with the right pieces? I trust in the staff of Utah a little bit differently.
Let's do the immediate one. We have a full screen that shows you the odds for each player being the Rookie of the Year for next season. So there we go. We can pop those up there. Its co-favorites are Cam Boozer. We haven't even mentioned him yet. He goes to Memphis at number 3. He, along with Dybantsa, are the co-favorites. Part of that, I think, is the Duke effect. People know Cam Boozer. They know his name. They may be inclined to make a bet on him just because they know the name. Peterson, Acuff, you mentioned him earlier, Coach. Caleb Wilson, number 4 in Chicago. A lot of people like him. What jumps off the page at you here, Sean?
To me, I'm going to go with what Seth was talking about earlier. Like, if I was looking at it, I'm not a gambling guy, but if I look at value right there, Darius Acuff is going to have the ball in his hands more than anybody that got drafted last night, and he is going to go make plays. Did you see the pop, by the way, in Sacramento when he got drafted from that crowd that was sitting in the arena? They are thrilled to have him, and they are going to empower him to take over this team the day he arrives in Sacramento.
One other quick note, the one from the character from Batman that had the question mark was the Riddler.
Riddler.
The Joker is the one who looks like the clown. That was Cesar Romero.
It's a long time ago. I can't
the
remember.
Riddler was Frank Gorshin, and he wore a question
Why didn't you cover my back? You always cover my back.
I'm sorry, I got rattled.
Family
It's been a
members
long
always
night.
look after each other.
You guys are busy playing sports. I was watching television. Some question, would it be here, Darren Peterson, who went 2, followed by Cam Boozer, Caleb Wilson next, and on it went sort of in chalk mode. So, Jay Will, I start with you. Give me a draft day declaration. What jumped out at you from night 1?
I trust the first pick in the draft in AJ Dybantsa, but I'm not sure I trust the organization of the Washington Wizards.
Yeah.
Just development is one critical thing for a player, and he's going to be a talented player, but you sign Trae Young to that 4-year, $212 million deal. What do you do with Anthony Davis? So much of the environment in which a guy like AJ Dybantsa has to play in over the course of his career will be determined about who he's surrounded with on a day-to-day basis. I'm not sure I trust that yet for the Wizards.
Sean, what do you think?
I think you can trust AJ Dybantsa for sure, and I think you're going to believe in him. And I think there's one thing I know is that he has that it factor, and he's going to win. And the question I have is, will he win with the Wizards? Because over the course of his career, if they do not surround him, he's going to move somewhere else.
All right, Seth Greenberg, we come to you next. My uncle Seth Greenberg, no relation. What is your draft night declaration?
The biggest impact player in this whole draft is going to be Darius Acuff Jr. because your impact is in relation to the opportunity you have to impact a team. The ball is going to be his hand day 1. And when the ball's in Darius Acuff's hands, good things happen. He can play in ball screens, he can shoot the 3, he can get downhill, he's got runners, but more importantly, the opportunity to basically be the face of a franchise. Darius Acuff Jr. got selected by the perfect team for him.
What do you think, Jay Will?
I love the way he plays. Look, I think this draft class, it got really interesting once we got by Caleb Wilson, when you saw the likes of Mikal Brown Jr., Keaton Wagler, and Darius Acuff. He reminds me a lot of Stephon Marbury with the way he plays. But he's so dynamic, athletically, can shoot, but he's always on balance, more important.
Jalen Brunson to me.
That's a good one. That's a
Look
good
at the body
one.
type. Just speak to Perk. Perk on line 1.
It's a good one to aspire to. Sean, give me a draft night declaration.
Let me just go this way. It's easy to go through the top 10 picks. They all kind of went as expected. I actually love the pick of Yaxel Lenonborg going to the Warriors. Steve Kerr has shown over the course of his career he doesn't play a lot of younger players. And if they believe that this window is even remotely still open for Steph Curry and Draymond Green, you needed to have somebody that could come in and impact the game right away. At 24 years of age, you're talking